Hello and welcome to week 10 of our Destination Cork Summer Series and to this week's theme, Kinsale. To date on our series, we've talked about the Wild Atlantic Way, beautiful venues, family fun, artisan gin producers, scenic coastlines, and of course, incredible food. Luckily for us, today's location of the stunning harbour town of Kinsale encapsulates all of these things and more. It is quite honestly one of my all-time favourite spots here right on our doorstep, and I'm always so proud to mention it on my sales trips, to recommend it to our guests here at Hayfield Manor, and to avail of it myself regularly with visiting friends and family. Today, as we chat to our friends from Kinsale, Guny Patel from Kinsale Chamber and from her own boutique Kinari, Dr. Tara Shine from Change by Degrees, and Tom Kay from Kinsale Good Food Circle, you'll soon see why this spectacular town is a must top to do on every visitor's visit to Cork City and County. So firstly, to you, Guny, representing, as I've mentioned, Kinsale Chamber and your own lovely boutique Kinari. Luckily for all of us who have benefited from the hard work there over the years, Kinsale has successfully established itself nationally and internationally as a must-visit town. The stunning setting aside, I understand that this is credited largely to the wonderful collaboration in the town and that all business owners come together collectively to promote it as a destination, which is something that we are very fond of doing here and what we focus on ourselves when we go out and about promoting both Cork and Ireland for visitors at home and abroad. So historically, this in it together approach has stood in Kinsale's favour and to all of our favour by association by having it here 25 minutes from us. And it's in evidence again, interestingly, in the Kinsale Comeback campaign, which I loved reading about. And this campaign has focused very carefully on a thought out plan to emerge from our current crisis successfully. And as we now bid farewell to our fabulous family visitors and holidaymakers to whom we're also grateful since reopening, the next phase in this campaign for the autumn winter is to attract the golf market, the over 50s, and of course the foodies. And of course they'll have everything on their doorstep there in Kinsale. So it's perfect, the perfect campaign for the autumn and winter season. And Guny, can you tell us a little bit more about the town of Kinsale, please, and how everyone from such a myriad of business backgrounds comes together to really work hard to create such a magical, it has marine, it has golf, it has arts, it has gourmet, it has history, that you make it such an incredible destination for people of all ages to visit.
Good morning, Karen. Yes, Kinsale is, for me, when I first moved just almost 5 years ago, I couldn't get over how cosmopolitan such a small town on a coast could be, and that was my main attraction. I think it was just this friendly, welcoming feel that you get the minute you step into the town, regardless of whether it's a sunny day or a cloudy day. And what I have found, I've been in business now for just over 4.5 years since I opened Kinari. The support locally by the community of Kinsale, but also the businesses. As businesses, what's fantastic about this town is we all club together, we all come together to make it work, and to promote the town, not just from a sort of local county country basis, but internationally as well. And that was very prevalent during the lockdown of COVID-19, where restaurants were getting together with a volunteer group that was set up to provide meals for the elderly and the vulnerable. That was just one example. Neighbourhood food was set up by a local business that allowed them sort of a bigger space in their premises so that they could then provide their services to the town every week. So they were just little things of what was happening as that sort of community spirit. As you mentioned, the comeback campaign, we were heavily working back the minute we locked down pretty much. We started with sort of a Back Stronger campaign, which was producing stickers and posters that could be put up in all the businesses around town to just say back stronger, in this together, and just to create a positive mindset, a resilient mindset, hopefully, for the town, the community, the businesses of Kinsale, and say, look, yes, we're going through challenging times, but we will come back. and we will come back stronger. So that was the start of it. And from that, we then started developing a comeback campaign. So the essence of which was to, when we were allowed to sort of open, over the five-phase program, we had sort of guidelines of where we would go, how we would promote the town. And initially, obviously, it was to attract families, staycation, day trippers to start with once travel restrictions were lifted. And it's worked. It's been fantastic. Retail, the boutiques opened first week of June, and initially, again, we were all sort of, as a business owner myself, I was really nervous because I thought, oh my gosh, there's a lot of anxiety that's probably been built up over 3 months of people not being able to travel, even within, say, less than 5 kilometers. Are they going to be confident leaving their homes, leaving their sort of bubbles, as it were, to come into town? And they were. And the support, as I said, was just phenomenal. It's been amazing. So from my point of view, I'd like to just thank all the lovely ladies that have been coming in to support me since I opened, because that's the only way small independent businesses will survive, is through that support. And then the hotels, restaurants were open from the 29th of June, and the bookings have been amazing. We've had bookings that have been fully booked, restaurants have been fully booked, cafes have been fully booked. So since sort of end of June right up until now, it's been absolutely amazing. So let's see what September, October brings. The phase 2 of our campaign will, as you mentioned earlier, will be to promote the town and attract the town to a slightly more mature generation, the golfers, the foodies, hopefully a bit of retail therapy thrown in. So that would be, because we've lost a lot of our events. I mean, September we would have had Dragons Cup next month. October is a really busy month for us. Normally, every year we start sort of the beginning of October with Gourmet Festival, and then which includes Mad Hatters on Saturday. Amazing sort of venue, amazing atmosphere, and then we end October with Jazz Weekend, and obviously all of that has gone. So we're now busy as a chamber trying to think outside the box as to what we can do to keep September, October going, and then that will lead into Christmas. So fingers crossed we can keep going till Christmas and we're not locked down again. I'm optimistic. I'm like, right, my goal is stay open until Christmas Eve. And then let's see what happens in 2021. But Christmas is very much, again, as a chamber, we'd promote the shopping experience locally in Kinsale, really promoting the shop local message as well. Because we do have, yes, we're known for the foodie aspect of Kinsale, but we've got some amazing small independently run boutiques that offer that point of difference that you won't find on the high street.
Thank you, Guny. Yes, I know. I love it. I love all the shops there, the bookshops, the galleries, the boutiques, and I was looking at your own stuff as well, and you have lots of locally produced products. I saw Lucy La Bougie candles there. We had those diffusers here at Hayfield. They're beautiful, and I know Tara will talk a lot about locally sourced as well, and the importance of supporting that and supporting our smaller shops and the coffee shops and the bookshops to keep everybody going, because people don't come to a destination if it doesn't have those beautiful little independent entities, and adds character. And like, there's nowhere like Kinsale in terms of like beautifully painted shops and houses and cobblestone streets, and all of those small businesses are vital. They're essential for it to remain as a destination that people do want to come to visit and experience. And I think the work that goes on behind the scenes, people sometimes do not appreciate. Like, Kinsale is so famous within Ireland and internationally. Everywhere I mention it, people have generally heard of it quite often. As you say, largely for the gourmet aspect or possibly for the sailing. But, that doesn't happen by itself. And, as you've said there, just because it is so well known doesn't mean you're going to rest on your laurels and not take action and plan for when, the lockdown was over, and keep driving it behind the scenes. Even if it is already so well known, you're not going to take that for granted, which is, it's just really important and reassuring to hear, because Kinsale is so important to all of us in Cork, and we're very grateful for it. So thank you very much, and I'll be down soon. to visit you myself, hopefully. I'm ready for retail therapy myself. So
we can help on that front.
Yeah, and I know the sun is shining there today, so I wouldn't mind popping down there and having a 99 by the harbour. A 99, for those of you who don't know, is soft whipped ice cream with a stick of chocolate in it. That it is an essential part of the Irish summer holiday experience, and I hope loads of families have enjoyed them down there in Kinsale this summer. So now on to yourself, Tara, from Change by Degrees. A dedicated awareness of and a drive towards sustainability within the travel, tourism and hospitality industry, and many others too, of course, has definitely increased substantially over the last few years. I know we ourselves at our meetings over the last couple of years have had many, many conversations on how we can make our hotels more sustainable, how we can be more environmentally friendly, what measures we can take, but still retain a luxurious guest experience. Of course, the recent challenge has resulted in us reverting ever so slightly back to single-use products to a certain extent, with a view, of course, to keeping people safe, which we must do. It's our priority right now. But, you know, I think the overall conversation and the mindset has shifted significantly in the past few years, and it's not going to go away. We're going to continue focusing on the sustainability, the locally sourced, the farm to fork, and as we mentioned with Guny, buying products from our local artisan producers, be that food or candles or diffusers or clothes. So that's really important to all of us here, and I know yourself and Madeleine have done a lot of work, and I've heard you speak at a Network Cork event, which was brilliant actually, in AIB, about the small changes that we can all make. I know you work with a lot of big companies as well, but sometimes it needs to come down to the individual in their own households or people in companies like ours to just hear the message and know what they can do, because sometimes it is overwhelming. It's like, what can I, one little person, do? But you guys have done great work at Change by Degrees, and I just wanted to find out a little bit more about that and how your stunning location there in the town of Kinsale inspired that. No doubt it would. So if you could chat to us a little bit, please, about how you established this business and what inspires you to keep it going day by day.
Yeah, I would love to. Thanks, Karen. And yeah, Kinsale is our inspiration. I don't think the incredible journey, if you like, that Madeleine and I have been on over the last 3 years would have happened if it wasn't for Kinsale. So we met swimming in the sea just outside Kinsale. And that's what brought us together, was that love for the ocean. And then Madeleine's dissatisfaction, I guess, at that point, that nobody was educating her as a decision maker to live more sustainably. So she could see that her kids were getting some education around this in school, but she was the one paying all the bills, making all the decisions in the household. She'd run a couple of businesses herself where she had tried to be sustainable in the way that she designed the business, but again, with very little support. And she's like, well, why is nobody engaging, educating and empowering the grown-ups and the decision makers to do more? And so that was kind of our starting point. And we said, right, what can we do? And so we started and we held a focus group here in Kinsale with 20 women that we plucked from our various WhatsApp lists. And we sat down and we thought, well, like, what's the biggest problems facing our community here? Let's start in our community and see where we get to. And from that focus group was born Plastic Free Kinsale, out of a frustration around that. This was in January 2018, the mounting volumes of single-use plastics that we were all finding every time we went out, every time we went shopping, the piles of plastic packaging on our counters when we unpacked our supermarket shop. And so we started with Plastic Free Kinsale, which is a campaign which still goes on around reducing the use of single-use plastics in the town of Kinsale. It's harder, as you say, at the moment with some restrictions around what reusables we can use, but that's going to change in time. And as we realise that, I think that, you know, the coronavirus is killed by soap and water, and so washing up things or cleaning things can do a lot to allow us to continue to reuse. So that's just I think that's just an evolution. And what we wanted to do then was with Plastic Free Kinsale was work with our community. And within that, we recognized that we wanted to work with schools and businesses and individuals. And so Plastic Free Kinsale allowed us to test a lot of our theories and to learn an awful lot. And we've turned that then into services that we offer through Change by Degrees that can reach beyond Kinsale to a national audience. So for in schools, for example, in Kinsale, we started doing workshops in all of the primary schools in Kinsale and in our community school with the students around how they could be ambassadors for going plastic free, what they could do in their own lives, in their school, and as champions for living a plastic free life in their community. And that led to what is now plastic free for schools and plastic free for kids. So Plastic Free for Schools, we pivoted it in the middle of COVID to become an online resource. It's there for everybody. It's curriculum aligned for teachers. Parents can do it with their kids. It's called Plastic Free for Kids. It runs on our YouTube channel. And it's a whole set of lessons, 8 lessons that can help kids become plastic free ambassadors. And then we wanted to very much think about empowering individuals. So you spoke about, there's a lot we can do together, but there's also things we can do in our own life. And we found that so many people were alienated by the environmental movement, that they felt they had to be perfect to belong. They had to be green, whereas I think you could be purple or orange or pink. It doesn't matter. And nobody needs to be perfect, but we all need to change, and that's for certain. And we will never get to the systems change we need if we don't help people to feel part of something good and to want to make changes in their lives. And so for the individuals, we use our social media a lot, and Change by Degrees and Plastic Free Kinsale. And then this year I published my book, How to Save Your Planet One Object at a Time, which is all about helping individuals make small changes in their life through the most ordinary everyday objects that you have in your house, your garden shed, and the bottom of your gym bag. So that is another part of our help and assistance we're giving people to make changes. And then the main business of Change by Degrees is helping other businesses to be more sustainable. So as you said, whether you're an SME or a big corporate or a cafe or a small retailer, many business owners know that their clients want them to be more sustainable and tell them what they're doing. They want to start, but quite often they don't know where to start. They feel a little bit overwhelmed and intimidated by the information that's out there, and will they do it right? And what if someone says they're greenwashing? And so Change by Degrees comes along and can help you to come up with a policy or a strategy, an action plan. We can help you to tell your story about how you're a sustainable business in an authentic way, and we can help you to engage your staff so that it's a whole team effort and commitment to sustainability. So if you think about a hotel, for example, it's not enough to have something on the web page that says we're committed to reducing waste, saving energy. You want every one of your members of staff that your customers and clients come in contact with to get that same sense of, we really do want to have locally produced sustainable food. That's what you're going to get here. We're making an effort to reduce our packaging in this way. You won't find many plastic bottles of shampoo in our hotel rooms because. And so every time you empower your staff, you just strengthen and strengthen and strengthen your message. And so Change by Degrees is all about working with businesses and organizations, big and small, to help them to start that journey. And again, perfect is not the ambition. Better is the ambition, and a whole lot of better happening around Ireland will help us to make a really quick transition to being a more sustainable country and more sustainable communities to do that in. And just to say that Kinsale has been the best place possible to do these experiments and learning. Every time we needed help and we asked the community of Kinsale, someone was an expert in the thing we were stuck in, and they absolutely helped us. Every time we needed more people to help with a beach clean, or we needed some inspiration, or we were stuck on something, Kinsale gave to us. And so that for us is a constant source of motivation and inspiration. So great place to start a business, Kinsale.
Thank you very much, Tara. It really is just incredible what you're doing, and to start those conversations in schools from an early age is just brilliant. I've got a few smallies who will benefit from going on YouTube. They'll be hearing about that very soon. Not my own smallies, but plenty in the wider family who need to watch that. And that book now could be a nice little stocking filler for a few people this Christmas, and we'll spread the message one book at a time. So you're right, our clients are asking us, a lot of our corporate partners who stay with us here, a lot of the bigger companies are asking what we're doing. They want to know that their employees are going to be staying in a business that is as concerned with the environment as they are, and also our international visitors, our leisure guests, even individuals. Their travel agents want to know what kind of hotel they're coming to. The end guest wants to come and support a hotel that is conscious of the environment and is taking steps, to be better, if not perfect, as you say. and we're really focused on that, and we will hopefully continue on that path over the next few years, because it's essential. We won't be here otherwise if we don't do it. So yeah, it's really, really great, and I love what you're doing there. Where better to make business decisions and start up a business than in the sea on the coast of Kinsale? I love it. Thank you very much, and huge congrats to yourself and Madeline on what you've achieved so far. And now to Tom. Now we get to talk about my favourite thing again, food. Well, kind of food, but the collection in general. Welcome, Tom Kay.
Thank you.
With the Kinsale Good Food Circle. I love this collection. Again, it's all about the collaboration in it together. Very much like, I suppose, Ireland's Blue Book, which we're a part of, which was established back in the 70s as well, and really, really focused on good food and people's experience of that, and a consistency and a level of service. And this Kinsale Good Food Circle was established, like Blue Book, back in 1976, I think.
Correct.
By a group of like-minded food enthusiasts and restaurateurs, with a view, I think, to keeping Kinsale on the map outside of the high summer season, so that, you know, keeping the restaurants and businesses in Kinsale alive into the shoulder seasons and the traditionally quieter times of the year, which is fantastic. You know, that is a really great thing to do, because the businesses need to stay open longer than 4 months of the year, and it is vital that they do so. And I think over the years, this Kinsale Good Food Circle has evolved and is now like the proud host of one of the longest, if not the longest, running food festival in Ireland, certainly. 43 years, celebrated in 2019, and it has established things such as Kinsale Restaurant Week in the start of the year, in February, I think you do. Correct. Kinsale Restaurant Week, which is a really good initiative. The restaurants involved all offer 2 courses for €20. I mean, that is nothing to taste some of the best food in Ireland, if not the world. So it's a really nice initiative. And then, of course, we have the Mad Hatters Festival in October, and then there's the Chowder cook-off, and there's just so much going on, which I think is just incredible. Can you please share with us how it has grown so much from strength to strength, and just maybe elaborate a little bit more on some of those brilliant initiatives that you've got, Tom?
Of course. First of all, thanks for having me. You would talk about Kinsale Good Food Circle, formalised in 1976 by restaurateurs in Kinsale and hoteliers. The numbers have gone up and down over the years. There's currently 11 member restaurants in it. We are the newest member here in the Supper Club. First of all, I'd like to remind everybody how Kinsale, while well known for being the gourmet capital of Ireland, can you imagine that there's a group of 11 restaurateurs in a place like that that work together, as opposed to being in direct competition, as we are in competition? But I think it's great. We can sit around the table every so often. We have meetings. We discuss. We help each other as well. The old saying from the Good Food Circle that the rising tide lifts all boats is incredibly important. And I'm really proud and honored to be in an organization like that. So yeah, like I said, formalized in 1976. Things have changed over the years. In 2002, we started the Mad Hatters section of the Gourmet Weekend. The Gourmet Weekend is probably the biggest date on our festival calendar. It happens generally in early October, outside of the main season, going into the fringe season, and currently comprises of 3 parts. The launch is on the Friday night in the Blue Haven Hotel, where people come for a champagne reception, and then go out to dine in one of the 11 member restaurants that evening, followed the next morning by probably the biggest gourmet event in the country, which is the Mad Hatters food tour of Kinsale. There's about 500 people that gather in a room at 11 o'clock to have a quick gin and tonic and glass of champagne in the morning. And you must pace yourself. It's a very long day, I will tell you, but it's one of the best days you're ever going to have. It starts with some speeches. People get split into 4 groups based on characters from Alice in Wonderland. And there's 4 venues around town. So at each venue, you'll find generally 3 or so restaurants. You'll find artisan food suppliers, from cheese makers to smoked mackerel producers, gin producers, all sorts of things. So you spend an hour or so in each venue, and then you rotate. And each group then moves to the next venue, and so on. And it generally wraps up around 4 in the afternoon in a nightclub with lots of dancing, and it's just absolutely brilliant. If you haven't experienced it, it's just something you absolutely have to do. And then we go on to day 3. So that's why I said you have to pace yourself. Day 3, the following day, is our Freedom Air seafood spectacular lobster lunch in Acton's Hotel. Now, this lunch is amazing. You've never seen as much lobster and oysters, prawns, clams. It is just fantastic. There's a great band afterwards and dancing, and that ties up then our weekend the Gourmet Weekend, which, as I said, is in the start of October. About 10 years ago, we launched a new event then, the All-Ireland Chowder Cook-Off. That starts, that is generally the first weekend in April. There's chowder, people from all over the country, hopefully from every county around Ireland, come down and they make chowder. You have in the thousands of people come down, and there's a public vote to say who has the best chowder in Ireland, and they are crowned All-Ireland Chowder Champions for that year. Again, an amazing weekend, and another weekend that benefits everybody in the town. With everybody that comes in, it benefits all the boutique retailers, it benefits everybody, the hoteliers. It's just fantastic. And those have been the two main events for the past while, although in the past couple of years we have added 2 more events. So we now have the restaurant week that you touched on. So that's held in February for a week in all 11 restaurants. You can experience 2 courses, currently for €22. It started at €20, but still an amazing deal. And again, like the Gourmet Weekend in October, it's held on the fringe start of the season instead. Again, to try and extend our season, you touched on the fact that we can't survive on 4 months. It's not viable, you know, especially with rents and stuff the way they are in Kinsale, you know, and we are a small town. Although we love our locals, it's fantastic to bring more people into the town if we can. So that's in February, our Kinsale Restaurant Week, sponsored by Vovtico. And then since last year, we had our first year. This is something, you know, we're all really proud of. I'll have to mention Kieran Fitzgerald here and Liam Edwards, 2 long-standing members who started this. It's called the Kids Kitchen Takeover. So this was a week without a specific event. It was a week of talks in schools, of bringing children to food producers, to farms, to have food journalists talk to them within their schools about sustainability, about eating more healthily, and about food in general. And that was helped us by Fáilte Ireland with the Taste the Island initiative last year. We hope to do it again next year. Obviously, with everything that's going on, you know, none of this is possible. So unfortunately, this year we had no events, we had no chowder, everything was cancelled. But look, such is life. Everybody is in the same boat there, you know. But like Guny said, Kinsale is an amazing place where people nearly automatically pulled together when the lockdown happened. The Good Food Circle got involved with volunteer groups, like Guny mentioned, to deliver meals to at-risk people, offering discounted meals to frontline staff if you were doing takeaway, things like that. And that's why Kinsale is such a special place in that way, you know. We all help each other, and that's really important now, especially more than ever. Yeah, so that's all I have to say about the Good Food Circle right now. Yeah,
yeah, it's an incredible group, really, and as you say, like that, restaurateurs are working together rather than in competition. I think is really, really vital. It is vital, and as you say, I love that saying: "A rising tide lifts all boats." Definitely the case there in Kinsale, but like one restaurant alone will not make a food capital. You need everybody. You cannot do it on your own. We can't do it on our own in Cork as a hotel. People need the brilliant restaurants. They need the attractions. They need our partners all around. And that the same goes for the whole of Ireland. And collectively, obviously, you know, it will work because everybody is really invested. And like you say, it is great that you have these initiatives and you have people to come up with those ideas to extend the season, because, you know, we have to keep people in their jobs.
Of course.
People can't just work from May to September. We can't, you know, we have to keep the doors open and people working. And it does benefit all the hotels. I'm sure our friends in the Trident, Haven, Acton's, ourselves here, all the hotels in Cork benefit from Kinsale being a destination. And we're really grateful that it's on our doorstep. It is just fabulous. We love talking about it at home and abroad, and we will continue to do so for a very long time to come. And now, before we wrap up, we'll have to ask our rapid fire buzzer top 3 favourites round, as always. And we'll start with you, Guny. Your top 3 must-do experiences to recommend visitors to Kinsale when they visit. What do you think are the best 3 things? It's going to be hard now. It is going to be hard.
For such a small town, we have so much to offer. So for me, top 3 would be the Silly Walk, the walk up from town towards Charlesport, and it's sort of parallel to the sea, amazing views. You can manage that hill leading up to Charlesport. It is absolutely worth it. And you can extend your walk, go into Charlesport, spend a few hours in Charlesport, look at the history of Kinsale in Charlesport as well, and there's walks further past Charlesport as well. So that for me would be one of the best things to do. If you can get out on the water, harbour cruise with Jerome Lorden, that would be amazing. I mean, weather permitting, obviously, but on a sunny day, there's nothing nicer than being out on the water in Kinsale and seeing Kinsale from the water. And then having a wander around, you know, the shops, sitting in a cafe, watching the world go by. There's nothing nicer, you know, this kind of take a chill pill, relax for the day. And it's a small town, so it's easy enough to get around. And like I said, experience the boutiques, experience the cafes while you're here. If you're here just for the day in Kinsale, but if you can, stay here longer.
Yeah, that is fabulous. I've done the Silly Walk loads of times. It's a silent C, by the way. It's not silly, S-I-L-L-Y. There's a silent C thrown in there just to keep us on our toes. And it is absolutely spectacular. It really is, right by the water all the way along. Beautiful houses on your left, the sea on your right. And, you know, you'll have earned your glass of lemonade or maybe a locally produced gin when you get out as far as the Bullman. Sit by the pier there. It is just a really lovely, lovely thing to do. And there's just so much to do in Kinsale, but they were three really good tips. Thank you very much, Guny. Tara, to you. We'll have to keep it, you know, sustainable and environmentally friendly. So we need your top 3 tips that we can do now as individuals when we travel around our beautiful island, as we're staycationing. What are our top 3 things to do?
Number 1, bring your rubbish home. So I am a bit worried and aghast at the amount of litter in our beautiful country as it has been busier this summer. So if you can, bring it home. If not, make sure it goes in a bin. And if you have a pair of gloves, go one step further and pick something up. The only way to keep our Kinsale and our island beautiful is to respect it and love it and leave no trace. That means leave nothing behind you. Nobody should know that you've been there. And I think that's something we really genuinely need to work harder on as Irish people staycationing in our own country. So just, you know, take it home, put it in your own bin at home. It's no hardship. That's number 1. A little bit of a lecture, but I think we might need it. Number 2, get out of your car and walk and cycle to really explore Ireland. When you do this, you are going to be so much more in touch and see so much more of what's around you, but it's also good for you. You're getting fitter and good for the environment, because all of those forms of transport release no emissions and create no air pollution. So, you know, stay healthier for all of us in the short term and in the long term. So yeah, get out there on your bike, on your feet, on your scooter, on your electric bike, your electric scooter, your kayak, whatever it might be. These are all the best ways to explore Ireland. And number 3, find and support businesses that are committed to sustainability. So find the cafes and restaurants that have a commitment to local producers. Find the hotels that have some kind of statement or commitment around being sustainable and environmentally friendly on their website, and tell them that that's important to you when you ring up or as you check out. You know, look for the retail outlets that have a commitment to stocking sustainable clothes, sustainable products, and favor them in where you go and what you do and where you stay. So yeah, support sustainable businesses, because that's going to help them to grow. Many of the most sustainable businesses are independent and small and growing and need all of us to get behind them. Those are my 3.
They're very good tips, and they're also very doable. So they're not too overwhelming. We can all do those things. We can all collect our rubbish, take it home with us, or be a like-minded, you know, a community-oriented person and collect some other rubbish as well if we see it. There's some great tidy town committees in Ireland who are very proud of their locations, and they do great work, voluntary great work. It's brilliant to see. So we can definitely do those 3 things that you've mentioned, Tara. Very easy for us to do, not overwhelming at all. And yeah, we can tick those boxes. I am confident. Come on, guys, we can get on it. Let's do that as we staycation around the island. Thank you very much. And Tom, back to food. All right. Finish on food again. Your top 3 ingredients. This is one of my favorite questions because I love food so much, and I love picnics, and I love the beach. So your top 3 ingredients for a picnic on the stunning shores of the Kinsale beach environments, if I was heading out there.
So 3 things. Number 1 was savoury. I tell you, if I'm going to the beach with the family, I'm stopping first to see Martin Shanahan down at Fishy next to the pier there. And I'm going to get some fish and chips from him, definitely. I mean, it has to be done, absolutely. Or if I'm feeling a bit flush, I might get a takeaway lobster. You never know. Again,
Fancy.
While you're in Kinsale, you only live once, and you know, if you're going to go to a beautiful place, eat some beautiful food, and no better place to get something from. I suppose I'm going to need something sweet as well. So number 2, I'm going to go to the bakery at the old bank house in Kinsale Town Centre. part of the Blue Haven collection. They do amazing pastries and cakes. And as I'm walking out, if I can fit in another one into number 2, I'd probably pop over to Coco, Kinsale's own chocolatier. He makes everything in-house. It's a tiny little shop. It's all his family that works in there. He has the most amazing chocolate in the world to finish off. And I suppose number 3, you have to have something to drink. So, and without question, it's going to be Black's of Kinsale. They have a brewery and distillery here. And if you haven't tried Black's gin, it's absolutely amazing. It's award-winning. It's a beautiful bottle. I'm going to be drinking that with my gin and tonic and drinking that while I'm eating my lobster, fish and chips, and looking forward to my cakes and chocolates then afterwards. And no better day at the beach would be spent by anybody, I think. So get down to Kinsale, come join me, and we'll see you soon.
Wow, that Tom, I want to leave the hotel. I never want to leave the hotel really because I love being here, but I want to leave the hotel right now, get down to Kinsale, get myself those picnic items.
We're waiting for you. We're waiting for you.
Oh my God. I mean, that would just be, who would not love that as a memory to make with friends and with family? It just is fabulous. I love it. It is just great. Thank you very much for sharing those tips.
You're welcome.
And thank you for joining us today, Tom and Guny and Tara, and you, of course, for listening in out there on our tour of Kinsale, the gourmet capital of Ireland and one of my all-time favourite towns in this country. There are so many fantastic things for visitors of all ages and interests to enjoy, as you've heard, from sailors to seafood lovers, historians, wine buffs, foodies, obviously, art aficionados, and those who appreciate just the simple scenic setting of a quaint harbourside town, or, as we've mentioned, a simple fish and chip supper, perhaps from Fishy Fishy, or from the Fish Fan, or from Dino's, or there's no end of fish and chips in Kinsale, and it is a must-do when you're there, it has to be said. But this little gem really truly has it all. 25 minutes from our doorstep here at Hayfield Manor, thanks be to God, and we are grateful for it every day. And yeah, we're so lucky to have it, and we'll continue to send loads more people and ourselves down to you. So join us again next week for our very, very last feature on our Destination Cork Summer Series. As the summer draws to a close, so too will our series. And next week, we'll be back to Cork City and we'll do an on-site tour of the famous English market, more food, woo, and a few more local city sites to boot. So thank you very much and see you soon. Bye-bye.